Thanks for stopping by. I'd like to preface this video by saying it is not a knitting tutorial, but a means to have something playing in the background while you work on your own knitting project. If you're like me and really enjoy watching videos while you work, sometimes you find that the content you like to watch is very visually engaging, and you're several hours in and haven't gotten nearly as far along in your project as you would have liked to. So that's where I come in. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back. It's the same evening. I should be getting ready to go to bed because, as you know from the previous video, I stayed up really late on Sunday night / Monday morning, and I regretted it sorely this Monday morning. And here it is, probably 10ish, 10:30 or so, I think. So pretty late, but not as late as I has been before, but late. I should be in the shower, I should be in my pajamas right now, but I'm not. So today we're going to continue working on the Bold Baby Blanket. We started finally on our light purple segment of this color block blanket. It does require 4 blocks of color, 82 rows each color, except for the very beginning and the very end. I had to knit another 6 rows just in garter stitch to bind off and cast on this guy here. But I like this one because it has like this ripple effect and this cute little like well, you can see it better, I think, more defined where the color switches, this zigzag thing. So I think that's pretty cool. And so it gives it some variation. But I had a hard time in the beginning just because there's a lot, well, there's repetitiveness that I do like, but there's also like switching that requires counting and knowing where you are. Like, I can easily see where I am on some sides, but when I flip it over, it's kind of hard to tell. So, like, do I know where I should be yarning over when I'm looking at it from the front? No. But, of course, I always know my knit through the backs when I'm knitting the even side because I just have a big loop that I have to go in. So that's easy. So the even rows are the easiest rows to get through. So I think we'll whip through this quickly because we did an odd row in the last video. So I might even be able to finish this even row and start on another odd row before we end the video today. But to continue on, since it's still Monday night, I wanted to say that I think I need to go to the chiropractor. Something's up. I feel like I'm always leaning on my right side. Maybe my butt is just uneven, I don't know. But I'm always leaning this way, and even when I sleep, my legs kind of jet off in one direction, and I'm not even like laying straight on the bed. Like, if I lay down naturally, I'm not straight up and down. And so I used to actually go to a chiropractor regularly, and it got expensive because my insurance was not covering all of my treatments, and they were hounding me because they thought I might have been in an accident or something, and because they did pay for some of it but not the whole thing, they're like, is there somebody we should be suing so that we don't have to be paying for this service? And I was like, no, nothing happened to me, I just, you know, want to make sure my spine's okay. And it really did help. Like, when I was going regularly, doing the stretches, getting adjusted, I felt like $1,000,000. But then my wallet said, you're not a millionaire, so cut it out. So I did cancel going, and it was right around the corner from my job. Super easy to get to. And then when I relocated, I got a different job, and I was still going, but I had to I had to hustle when I got off work because I had to catch a shuttle to take me to the train station that was right by the clinic. So I always got in like right before the end of the last day's adjustment. So I was all sweaty and gross because, as I mentioned in my other video, that like walking really fast always breaks me out in a sweat. So even if it's a cold day, if I'm bundled up, I feel like I'm walking in the Sahara Desert. So it was always nice, kind of just sweaty when I got in, and I didn't have time to really cool down before the doctor could see me. So that part wasn't so great, but the things he could do to my spine, like, oh, and when he would, like, do my neck, and, like, oh, man, it was great. Loved it. Loved getting adjusted. But now it's like, I think, I don't have sciatica, but every now and then I have, like, a pinch in my hip, and it kind of annoys me, and it's not, like, super, super painful where I can't sleep or anything, but it is pretty annoying. Just like a gnawing pain. So I should probably just look into doing some stretches or something, but when the professionals do it, it's so much better. So let me know in the comments, have you seen a chiropractor? And what were your thoughts on your experience? Or do you go to get regular adjustments? The thing they said, which is true, like, you have to go often to maintain and do the exercises to strengthen what you've done. Otherwise, you go and get adjusted and you feel good for like a day or two maybe, and then you haven't actually fixed the problem. They just like release some pressure, but you're still like have bad posture. You still like walk with like a rotated hip or something like that. Like, there's still some things you need to do to fix what's causing you the pain in the first place. And going regularly really did help with that. The adjustments were great, but it was really all of the different stretches and weights and things that they had in place to help me get better. I do miss it. Besides adjusting to work today, I did some laundry. I washed all of the clothes that I identified as donating material, so I'm excited about that. I cleaned out a pretty good chunk of my closet. It wasn't as much as I thought it would be. It was more like folding clothes, like t-shirts and some hanging stuff too, but not out of the closet I thought they were going to come out of. But I took a look. Hopefully tomorrow, Tuesday, I can review my shoes and see how I feel about those. Now that my partner is going to be home for the most part, I'm hoping I can just load up their trunk of their car with all of the things I want to drop off at a donation center, so then when the shutdown is removed or our mobility restriction has been lifted, we can drop those off at one of the centers and call it good. So it always feels nice when I can just clean out my closet a little bit. There's definitely some more things. I wouldn't say I was pretty conservative with what I got, but I just kind of eyeballed stuff. Took a pass through things I remember not wearing at all, but there's definitely some more stuff I can yank out of the closet. But as far as what I could wash in one load, I didn't have all that much stuff that I could toss in together. But I'm excited to start anew, fold stuff up again nice and neat, and just take a good look at everything, what I have. So if you are home, have you done any kind of spring cleaning projects like that, or you either looked at your closet, you rummaged through the garage, attic, basement, kids' playroom, just like, hey, what's some stuff that we really don't need that somebody else could use more than we can use. Just let it go. There's still so much stuff. It's so weird to think of like all the random stuff that I've collected over the years, and I haven't even been adulting all that long. And there's still stuff that's at my parents' house that I want, that's mine. Silly things like my Pokemon cards and all of the jewel cases to the CDs that I've purchased from when I was in junior high and high school. Like, they have the album art, they have the lyrics, they have all that stuff you don't get when you buy albums online now. So I think those would be nice to have. I don't think they would have thrown them away yet, but my parents aren't always the most, honestly, they're not always the most thoughtful when it comes to things that might have sentimental value. And I won't go into it, but I'm pretty scarred. I'm holding such a grudge because they've gotten rid of or mishandled stuff, and it's like, well, it is my fault because I didn't take it with me when I moved out. But I did come straight out here from college, and I've never lived in a place that really had the best storage solutions as far as keeping stuff like that. Like, I don't have an attic or a basement where I can just keep everything. And even now, like, the basement we have floods so much that I wouldn't want anything down there that I think is super valuable. I mean, that tote or that bin of totes I have, and my laundry detergent, that's about it. Oh, and our toolbox with like our saw and hammer and all that kinds of stuff for like home repair. We have that downstairs too, and our ACs, but those are on a rack so that they don't get exposed to the water when it floods. But other than that, not really any place to keep them tucked away out of sight. Even the closet that I have in this room isn't very big, and it's full of boxes of books and memorabilia that used to be on our bookshelves when we lived in an apartment that had more of like a defined living dining room situation. And we still have the rack, but it's been repurposed. But we had a rack where we keep our books and video games and figurines and stuff. And it was nice. It was really nice. But when we moved, we had to downsize, and then we moved again, and the layout changed, and there wasn't really enough wall space to have it without it getting in the way. So we just decided to keep everything in boxes until the next place, where we hopefully have a little more real estate to have things out on display that we really like to look at. But yes, spring cleaning nonetheless. Maybe one day when I can go back home, I will hold my breath, not have any high expectations, but take a trip to the attic to see if my parents did in fact keep my CD racks with my jewel cases. There was one album I forgot to pack with me when I came out here for college, and that was I believe it was the One in a Million album by Aaliyah, who was an R&B singer who had died in a plane crash back in 2001, I want to say. And she was, I think, like 20, 21, 22, something like that. I think she was in Jamaica when it happened. It was like a big deal when she died because of how horrific it was, and then how young she was when she passed away. And that was one album that when I came out here, and I thought I had it in my case because I had everything in order by artist, alphabetically ordered by artist, and I'm like, where's this one album that I had? And I think I left it in the case because I was like just trying to get everything I could packed to be delivered to me when I left home, and had my living situation figured out for school. So I think that's still in there. But if they're in the attic, they're probably warped as all get out because it gets so hot. And my parents' attic, especially as the temperatures have increased in the summers, I'd imagine it would look like something crazy if I were to even recover it and try to play it in my clock radio. I don't know. Yay! Okay, we're almost to see row 2. It's a breeze because I'm really just knitting, and then I'm knitting through the back when I find these yarn overs. So this row 2 is a piece of cake. So I like it when I get to row 2. It's not as exciting as row 1, that's for sure, but it's easier. So it's so nice just to be able to talk and whiz through that row 2. So this is one that if I'm at lunch, I know I won't have any problems. And like I mentioned in the previous video, I left my stitch counter downstairs. So I'll just make a 2 right here so I know where I am. And now we can start row 3. So this is where we get kind of weird. I mean, it's not kind of, it is weird because I have to do some counting and some visual gauging as well as talk to you guys without too many pauses, too many awkward pauses. So it does get a little weird for me because I am not the most coordinated of people in the world. And that's where things get messed up. And if you haven't caught where there are, besides the one that I mentioned in the last video where I noticed something happened, if you can't see where I had already messed up on this blanket, then I won't tell you where I did, but I will let you know I have messed up on this blanket. And I was too stubborn and too far gone to be like, I don't want to rip out this whole row again just to knit. Actually, it'd be like 2 rows considering where the mistakes happen. So I was like, no. I want to get this over with because this baby is born and living, and I don't want to delay too much more of when they get it because I have so much more to knit. I think the other baby blanket I had went by so much faster, but it was also teeny tiny. Because you can see in the picture of the blanket being modeled, you could see a baby on it, and the baby is like at least a couple months old. She can sit upright, and this is not like a newborn baby blanket where they would be too big for it already. So I'm hoping that tomorrow when I wake up, I will be able to feed the chipmunk in the morning because I saw him a couple times this morning, and of course my cats were just like, whatever, they didn't even care. But I was hoping to be able to sprinkle some peanuts outside again so that I could maybe watch him, but it'll have to be for sure after my meeting, my Zoom meeting at 9 in the morning, because otherwise I can't just like sit and watch him. I mean, I could if I got up like really, really early, but I don't think it's necessary. As cool as it would be, maybe I'll save that for like a Saturday, get up earlier, so then I can feed him, because I don't think I see him in the afternoon, honestly. I think he's just out in the mornings. Even my partner saw him this morning when they were leaving for work. I was like, yeah, I saw them later when I came downstairs. So I thought that was pretty cool. Oh, and last night, speaking of little hunters, Koji saw a spider crawling around on the ceiling, and he was so fixated on that spider, and my partner tried to pick him up so he could like reach it so he could bat it, but it didn't work. And I'd seen that happen before, where cats would like swat at a spider or a bug if their owner lifted them up high enough to get to it, but nah, not Koji. And even the spider came down from their web a little bit. And I was like, oh, Koji, you can jump and, swat him now. And he just looked, and useless. No, I'm kidding. I honestly don't know where that spider is now, which is frightening because I lost track of him last night. And it's like a common type of spider. Like, I don't know what it is about where we live, but I have never, ever in my, I've been here in this area since 2007, and here it is 2020. Never in my life had I had so many spiders in my home. I've had house centipedes, horrible. I've had roaches because my landlord was horrible. I've had stink bugs, Asian houseflies, not Asian houseflies, Asian ladybugs. They're like ladybugs, but they're brown, or like orangey, not red. They're different. They look the same, but they're not. And what else have I had? Just like weird stuff. Ants. We still get really big ants here, so I spray around like the windows and stuff where they can come in. But spiders, like, never so many spiders, and it's just, I hate spiders so much. I've been bitten several times by spiders since living in this apartment, and I don't like that at all. So I have a thing about spiders. Let me know, yes, in the comments. Is there any creepy crawly pest that's common in your area that you would probably be able to live your whole entire life without ever encountering this thing and be totally fine with that? Is it spiders? Is it ants? Do you live in an area that has like the really scary ants that like sting when they bite? Do you have an area known for roaches? Do you have an area known for snakes or very venomous animals that would come in? Or do you have fuzzy woodland creatures that like to chew through your roof? My parents' house, we had a mouse problem once. They were in my neighbor's house, and then they moved over to ours for some random reason. And they kind of lived in the garden and stuff, totally fine. But once they came into the garage, it was like, nope. They were in the crawl space under the house. I remember I was going to rollerblade, and my rollerblade was full of mouse poop. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But I was like, I don't know, junior high or something like that. And I was just like, okay, I'm not rollerblading anymore. This is nasty. But yeah, what kind of vermin are common around where you live? Um, we're making our way through, I don't know, something about this row. I just do not, I have so many weird feelings about it. It's like, I like the variety, don't like that I have to count. I think I have to find like the sweet spot pattern where I have all of the things I like about patterns and none of the things I don't like. But I'm still learning so many things, so I can't really say what I know I don't like yet because I haven't knit all that many different projects. And with me, I have in the past knit things several times. Well, I say several and I mean like twice. But I think I'm just going to do this once, at least for now. I have nothing else planned with this pattern. Swoop Beanie, I might knit that one again. I kind of liked it. Didn't like the yarn. I've done the Raylite socks. This is my second time now working on that. And the cardigan that I'm doing, I don't think I'm going to do it again just because it's knit flat, so I have to seam everything, and that's one thing I know that I would rather live my life without doing any seaming. But is there anything in a pattern specifically that is like your favorite thing to do or your least favorite thing? Like besides weaving in ends and seaming, like that's just kind of like the finishing part of it, but like the pattern itself, is there something that you enjoy doing a lot of or you would rather not if you didn't have to? Like some people don't like cables. Cabling is something I've heard people don't like. I've only done it with the Swoop Beanie, and that was just a one cable, so I haven't done like anything more than just one loop hanging off to knit back on, so it wasn't very complex at all. However, when I was changing from my fourth round to my first of my repeating 4, that got weird because I had to remember how to like take the place marker out and like switch the hanging stitch so it was the first stitch of the first row and it was the last of it. That part was weird, but that was just that pattern, I think. But yes, let me know in the comments as well. Any fun things about patterns you like a stitch, I guess, or a technique, and anything that you really don't like. I think the one I don't like is when I have to knit 2 together. I knit tight, so sometimes this is a challenge for me when I have to like bring that needle underneath it. Knitting through the back, easy peasy. Knitting 2 together as if to knit 2 together, like as a knitwise, not so fun. Yarn overs are tricky too, depending on where I am, because it's like, I thought a yarn over was like this, where I bring it up and over and around, but apparently it's under and over, but then maybe not. I don't know. That's what it looks like. I have to do under over for a yarn over instead of over under. So that got tricky when I first was trying to figure out how to do this. I did not realize that I was talking to air for some time, and I'm sad once more because I think I had some good questions, but I'll save it for another day because obviously it's already been 30 minutes and you're probably like, what's happening? Oh no, there's a jump cut. How much longer do I have to live listening to her ramble on about something weird? And hopefully I was at a good spot, but it is late, so I, being the lazy person I am not going to stop the film and look back at what I was saying before I got cut off. But I will say that I had questions for you guys, and one was like, what kinds of pests are common in your neck of the woods that are house bothers? And I was telling a story about Koji and how he was going after the spider last night, and how I really do not like spiders, but we get a lot of them in this apartment. So I was asking you guys, what kinds of critters come to your house? And then I mentioned that I had a mouse problem at my parents' house when I was younger, and a mouse or mice had pooped in my rollerblade, the little cushion thing that goes in the plastic part, and so I stopped rollerblading because I was like freaked out by dumping mouse poop out of my shoe. So I was not too thrilled about that. And then my other question, I had a few, but my other question was, is there something along the lines of knitting, either a stitch or a technique, that you really do enjoy or don't enjoy? And it's not like finishing, like not like blocking, seaming, weaving, and ends, but I mentioned cables, and that some people don't like cables. And I said, because of the swoop beanie, I've only done one cable, where literally I just had one stitch hanging off the line when I knit and then passed it back over. So I haven't had a lot of experience with cabling. And I talked about the weirdness with yarn overs, and how when I first started on this blanket, I was wrapping the yarn the wrong way, and it dawned on me before I looked up and realized I had stopped filming, was that the yarn over is just as if I was going to knit with a live stitch, but I didn't have anything on my needle, at least while I'm holding it, and the English throwing style, how I place my yarn. So it's like, okay, I guess it makes sense now. And then I called myself crazy because I was like over analyzing the yarn over, and then I was like, hey, wait, you guys aren't even listening to me because there's no film. It stopped recording. So, not the first time it's happened. I've been in the zone. I'm looking down. I thought I had more time, which is the song I sing a lot, and I didn't. But, so those questions that I propose to you are the ones that I would like to hear what your answers are to in the comments below. And we'll see what tomorrow looks like. Tonight I'm probably going to have to do my nails because I did press-ons, and I literally have my pinky on my left hand and two press-ons left on my right, and I put these on Sunday night. So I'm like, as soon as I went to like wash my face at boo-foo early in the morning, one popped off, and I'm like, okay. Woke up, did some more stuff, another two popped. I was like, oh my god. So they're literally just for like a day, if that, just for like a cool outfit, a cool going out kind of thing. But I'm not even that hard on my hands today, so the fact that they're almost all off my nails is really sad and wasteful. So I'm not going to do press-ons anymore. I still have kits to use, but I'm not going to use them often because it's just like, what do I do now? So, enough of all that rambling. You'll see me tomorrow for sure. And I'm thinking of what to film. If I want to keep filming this blanket, if I want to work on the socks, if I want to do the cardigan. I'm going to knit a little bit more tonight off camera so that I have some more progress to show you guys. But with all of that being said, thank you so much for stopping by once more, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.